Welcome back to the Gemini channel. My name is Laura. If you're new to the channel, I'm going to do a general message for Gemini. Know that energy is fluid. Roles could be reversed. Interpret the message as it best resonates with you. Also know on this channel and all my channels, I like to dive deep within the reading. So we do look at everything, but we take a lot more time to look at the spiritual blocks, the shadows, and see how they play out as karmic themes to help you understand why your person is doing what they're doing, why you're attracting that person into your life. What is the whole spiritual significance? I want to wish everybody a happy 4th of July that lives in the States, and just a happy 4th of July if you live anywhere else and it's the 4th. If it's the 5th of July, be happy. If it's 3rd of July, be happy. Just be happy. You know why? Because we're magnets of who and what comes into our life. So if we're not really happy, then we're not going to really be able to manifest anything that's in alignment with this positive energy, right? Everything that is derived from happiness, joy, passion, love, right? We can't attract those things. So always be happy. Try to have gratitude for even the most insignificant thing, the things that you take for granted. Sometimes that's how it has to go because you're really just not happy with where you are in life. So we really have to start off at rock bottom. It's easy to have gratitude when our life is going perfect, and no one's life goes perfect all the time. Life is a school. It's not meant to be perfect. It's not meant to be easy. It's actually meant to be hard. Life, as I said, is a school that teaches you how to become good enough for heaven. Maybe like good enough for heaven. Well, we're down here in physical form to learn and to manifest. We're supposed to be learning that we're not separate from our creator through seeing our life through all different perceptions. But we get spiritually blocked and we get stuck in a limited perception due to the experiences that we've lived, due to the experiences that we've witnessed our parents live. So it's really difficult to stop the karmic looping. And the karmic loop is just the same karmic theme that you continue to live. Like it may stop for a little while, but it's like every 5 years, every 10 years, the same exact experience plays out because spirit wants to see whether or not you learn the lesson. And so, again, the lesson is all about learning that there is no separation from you and your creator, that or you and the universe, because your creator made the universe. So the universe has your creator's energy, which is again the same energy as unconditional love. When we're born clean, like a clean slate. And we are open to receiving because our natural form, really our natural God-given energy is the same as the universe, the same as God's. It's that we're again born into families and that make us perceive that there's separation. And so a karmic theme plays out. And if we, are stuck in a place of limitation and feel bad, well, then obviously we haven't learned from the spiritual lesson. Spiritual lesson can play out with the same person or different people. Usually it's different people. And that's what really solidifies the belief that there's something wrong, that there is separation, because we're like, well, I dated so and so, and that person made me feel bad. And then I dated someone else, and they made me feel bad. And then I dated someone else, and they made me feel bad. And they all did the same thing. And so we have to look at what we do, which is really hard because a lot of times we're like, I didn't do anything. I just showed up. I was nice. And a lot of times it's just that you undervalued yourself. Again, so we always have to learn the lesson of unconditional love, but most we have to love ourselves unconditionally. And if we're not valuing ourselves to the level that God, the universe, believes that we should, then again, it plays out as karmic themes. Because we wouldn't know how we are treating ourselves. We just say, oh, I want to treat people the way I want to be treated. But sometimes people don't deserve, they need to earn it. And it's not by you saying, you need to earn it. It's more like you're so busy with your own life. you're having such a good time in your life that the person really has to put in an effort to see you. And if they don't really want that, they're not going to put in the time and energy. So you avoid any negative karmic consequences. See, you can't make a person do what you want them to do. However, you can always avoid negative karmic consequence. Now, I never know why I talk as much as I do in the beginning of a reading, but a lot of times what I'm talking about shows up within the reading. I just let spirit flow. All right. If you want to enter into winning a free reading with me, you got to like the video, subscribe to the channel, write the word of the video in your comment bar. The word of the video is always on the first card that I pull out. It's the underlining energy that tells us why everyone does what they're doing. Very important when a person's wearing masks because they create illusions, facades, they wear masks, and we're not living their reality. A lot of times that person is stuck in their trauma and they're living a reality that we know nothing about. But what they're doing is triggering us. And so the trigger is all about where your healing needs to begin. Okay, exquisiteness. We've been pulling that one a lot lately, I feel like. Maybe not on this channel, but like other channels. So I always like to pull like a few different cards. Opinionated. Opinionated. Well, this makes sense. I feel like Gemini, you are someone that is very different, very unique. You speak your mind, and what you believe in, you're very vocal about. So the thing is, the exquisiteness is the fact that you, again, are someone that's very spiritual and you come from a more Christ consciousness level, which means you really do come from a place of unconditional love because all the emotions that are derived from unconditional love is what Christ consciousness is. It's forgiving, it's empathy, it's having compassion, it's being resilient. Is you depict all those characteristics, and so you're so different. So even though you're opinionated and people may be like, wow, like they're a little bit like taken back because people don't really talk the way that you do. People aren't usually as deep as you are, or if they are, they're not. It's a little phony where you're not phony. What you see is what you get, and people aren't used to that. So there's this high level of consciousness, which unfortunately, just as much as you're a magnet of whom what comes into your life, when you hold that much lightness, every single moth is going to come to you. Meaning people that are not on your level, but they need some of your medicine. And your medicine is again the way that your character. Okay, so let's see. We're going to start with the trigger. Might as well see what it was like to be in a connection with this person. They just didn't give you enough time. I feel like you had more time for people that they didn't really want to form a relationship with. People that they could have a good time with, people that they could fool around with, people that, you know, were like more like acquaintances that they would have fun with, party with, but there was no emotional connection. And this bothered you because you're like, first of all, why are you giving everyone else more time? And you're supposed to be my person. You're not giving me any time. Well, that shows right then and there that there's an intimacy problem, that there's a trust problem. And a lot of men have it. And so I mean, I'm not saying it's necessarily that this is a man. It could just be a lot of masculine energy. But that's what I'm feeling. I'm feeling like that this person didn't give you any time. And the irony is that they were obsessed about you the whole time. It's that you spoke your mind. Again, you gave this person criticism and it triggered their shame. And they are the type of person that is like, it's my way or the highway. So they were intolerant. And you got to a point where you're like, wow. Wow, really? That's how you're going to treat me? So you were really disappointed in them because you're like, All I said was how I feel. But the thing is, this person's not used to honest people. They're used to people that manipulate, that put up with their nonsense, that, again, here for a good time, not a long time. And so this person was deliberately not giving you time, almost like it showed that they had a hard time of letting go of what past relationship that they had and the fears that are associated with it. So they manifest as chaos in the relationship because the person doesn't let you in. They talk to insignificant people. They give other people that time. They were making it clear that they didn't really want a deep relationship. That's what they were showing you, that they didn't really want any relationship. And it was almost like, I'm going to put you on a shelf and I'll come back to you. That's a little bit of the energy. And the irony is I don't feel like this person really um I don't think that they meant to do it 100%. I think, yes, they're a little immature, but I think it went on and on and on. See, now this person wants to talk to you, but they're not sure that they're ready to share everything, whether or not, you know, they want to, be transparent about everything, why they didn't give you the time, and which I feel like it's partially because I haven't looked at their own wounds. That's number one. Number two, because they were doing a lot of shady shit. They were running around with a lot of different people, doing a lot of bad things. They were like in their lower energy. So what this is saying, it's almost like this person still has a draw to you because again, you're like the light to like the moth to the flame. Like you're the flame. You're the light. This person wants you, but they're not, I want to say, they're, first of all, they're not on your vibration, so it's hard for them, and it's almost like it's unreal. However, I believe that because, hey, everyone sees that you're so different, you're exquisite, so that's different, and you're opinionated about being this way. So again, could be just your take on life, just the way that you are, the way that you live, where it's like this person's a sheep that you're connected to, and they're a little afraid. So they, again, when a person's a sheep, they're not living their true self. So it's easy for them to run around and be whoever that they want to be for that night because they hooked up with somebody insignificant that they'll never talk to again. So again, they're like, it shows that they don't really have that much of an identity, because if your hobby is just running around hooking up with people and them not getting close to you, it means they're wounded. Then they have that behaviorism that's very sabotaging to the connection. Again, this person's inner child needs to come first. They need healing. See, it says it right here. Look at this. Like where I feel like you're a magnet of whom what comes into your life. So it means that your inner child also needs to be healed, because here it is, you're like on such a high vibration, but then you're attracting this person into your life and they made you feel bad. You're like, you have time for everyone else that's insignificant, but you don't have time for me. So Spirit says that wouldn't. And this, it's because this person knows that this is more than a relationship. They know that there's a deep connection, like a higher purpose for the whole point of the connection. So they know, and it's almost like the relationship is so deep and it's so real, and you are so real. You're opinionated and you're different, so this person's not on your vibration and they almost put you on a pedestal, and they're like, I feel like they don't think that they're good enough for you, to be honest with you. They're changing and they're moving forward with this pattern. However, it's like they're looking at themselves and saying, why aren't I good enough? And possibly because they run around with a bunch of people that it's not, they're not a good, they don't hold this person to any standard. It's just an easy hookup. It's wasting time. It's feeding the ego. It's party time. But again, because this person has inner child wounds that they weren't healing, And here it is with you that it's making them think and it's making them feel again, again, question. I'm conflicted about whether I have what it takes to be your partner. I don't know whether I'm good enough. And really, they're not right now. And the reason why is because, hey, they they can't go deep. They're not transparent. They haven't done their own work. They have to do their own work before they could actually be with you. Otherwise, you will always be too good for them. And that's because their behaviorisms will show you that. Their behaviorisms are all about, suppressing the wound. When we don't feel good and we're not living our true self, our real self, we have bad behaviorisms, and those behaviorisms are sabotaging. So this person continues to live a karmic loop, and they could meet you, and there really is a divine connection, but they don't know what to do with it. And they don't know what to do with it because they would have to do healing. I'm sorry with my frog in my throat. Okay. So we say, what are they doing? Well, they're sad because it's again, they know that they messed up this relationship by giving everyone time, except for you. And they don't really know why. It's again, except for they avoided criticism, or they took everything that you said as criticism. They almost like did it more. It's like you said, hey, you're not giving me time. And so this person really didn't give you time. And there was no real reason for it, and that's the problem. This person, again, inner child healing. So what happens is they're impulsive. They let their emotions dictate what they're going to do because they have highs and lows, and that person that has no ground. This person doesn't have a ground. They're not building a relationship. What they do is, again, they build their ego. And then they have sabotaging behaviorisms because they're impulsive. It's like it depends. It's like an addiction. So it's the bad habits that they would have to change. And those bad habits came from family. And part of the bad habits is manipulating and focusing too much on the physical body, thinking that they're inadequate, the need to be perfect. There is no such thing as perfect. So again, they get to feel that and experience that they're perfect when they date all these people, when they have all these people that are into them and their surface, they're getting the attention. And here it is that they don't have feelings towards those people. They don't not looking for that. They're looking to feed their ego, which again brings us back to all the trauma that they're, trying to cover up. It's again just because you're not thinking about the trauma, just because you suppressed what happened or forgot, disassociated, detached, doesn't mean that that energy is not there. That energy is there. This person doesn't know why they were giving time and energy to everyone else. They just were because it was comfortable. And kind of like, yeah, I have an attachment to you, but it's like they don't know what to do with that because again, they don't know whether they're good enough. They know eventually that the relationship would sabotage, and then you wouldn't talk to them anymore, and they would be back in a place of feeling rejected and not good enough, which is what they need to heal to begin with. So it's just easy to, for them to have other people conform to what they want. They have anxiety when they think about the relationship. They never asked for any forgiveness. And the truth of the matter is that this person only knows how to be in karmic contracts. And there's a lot of fear around relationship and fear that at the end of the day, that no one will stay with them, that again, they'll be rejected because of the behaviorism. They're impulsive behaviorisms, which can be talking to other people. It can be drinking, it can be drugging. What we saw is again that this person gave other people time. Wherever the wind blew, it was party time all the time. Here for a good time, not a long time, but then not giving you anything. But then there is this attachment that they're completely terrified of. So is this person going to do anything? Let's see. Um, well, first of all, I feel like they try to talk, some of the people that they hook up with, they try and they try and get advice from these people. Because again, they don't care about them. So it's like here for a good time, not a long time, but then they'll say, "Oh, I have a friend and that friend is very opinionated. That friend is, someone that's very confident, someone that's very different, someone that gets a lot of attention because of who you are. Again, exquisiteness, that means that you're different, you're unique, and that people like it. It's a different, it's rare. And so, it's you got this person stuck on you, and you may be like, all I am is into spirituality. This person may never have been around someone that was spiritual. They might have been someone that was religious. You could have be a different culture. It's again, whatever it is, they feel like you get all this attention. They kind of put you on a pedestal. And what's down, it's like they don't know whether they're good enough because everyone leaves because of their past relationship. So here it is, they're asking these people, and those people are not giving them good advice. So this person needs to stop listening to other people and they need to know what they feel themselves. So that again is when we know that when we have a block, we don't trust ourselves. So we would ask somebody. But that's the problem. This person doesn't think that they're good enough. But their intuition is telling them one thing, their mind is telling them something else based on the experiences. So they have a lot of anxiety. They don't know what to do with this situation and it's triggering them and old patterns have surfaced and it hurts. So again, this connection, instead of them feeling all warm and fuzzy, is triggering them because it's like they have a lot of unhealed wounds that they haven't healed. So they're like, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. You're gonna reject me. You're not gonna stay with me. And they also can't validate their love for you in the 3D until they understand the spiritual love in the 5D. They don't understand it. They're like, it's almost like they've never had a connection like this. This connection is exquisite. It's rare, it's deep, it creates a lot of emotion in this person. This person's not emotionally intelligent, so it's overstimulating to them because it brings them back to, again, experiences that were not good, that they did not heal, which is why they have chosen to live the way that they have here for a good time, not a long time. So this is the issue. And that so they're going to be sitting there trying to figure it out. There are subconscious fears affecting our ability to attract love and abundance. The universe is helping us make them conscious so we can easily attract what we want in each other. So again, what we see right here is this that they can't walk away and they have deep feelings that this person has lost you in a past life and it's influencing again what's happening right now, which is like you're going to leave me again in this life. And they also are taking so long because they're so spiritually blocked that they actually can feel you pulling away and it's triggering them that you're going to leave them for good, which is supposed to happen because this person doesn't need to ask other people and they have a spiritual block. And the only way to, heal that block is to do something different. So the universe is trying to help this person by making them so uncomfortable. And that's what's happening. It's triggering memories from the past. They lost you before. They feel you pulling away. They're overthinking. It's making them very anxious and they're working through their trauma. Now, this doesn't mean that you're supposed to wait for them. What this means is that's what's happening with them right now. And they do have feelings for you. It's not like they don't. It's just that they're so used to wearing a mask, like that's what they do. They're so used to wearing a mask and being shady, having a looming agenda that this person needs to learn how to not be shady, and until then the relationship would be turbulent because again, they're used to these karmic contracts, which is all about entanglement, right? Where you become so consumed in them because they have love blocks that they need to heal due to past relationships. So we have to say, why did you attract this person into your life? Because you're a mirror of who and what comes into your life. And we always look at the inner child wounds to see what the reasoning was, right? I mean, otherwise it wouldn't work. Okay, we do it. That's about six. So we see again, first card out. Oh, self-sabotage. That's what it was. Then it was vulnerability. Then it was lies and secrecy, protection, magic, organized chaos, and abuse. Is that six? One, two, three, four, five, six. Yes. We could take a bonus, which is neglect, and because that fell out before, but I had already chosen six. So let's see. It just shows that, like whenever I see magic, magic means that you have spiritual gifts. It means that you can manifest, that you have a very strong third eye. You can, again, you can have anything that you want. The issue is that it's a double-edged sword. If you focus on what you fear, then what'll happen is you're going to bring that into fruition. But if you focus on what you want, that will, because of the neglect. There was neglect where you didn't feel safe. And I say that because, again, when a person grows up that way, they grow up in survival and they tend to self-sabotage because they're programmed for survival. The meaning, like, I don't feel safe, so I'm going to do whatever I can to be safe. You're not going to be in the creative mind where you're creating. If you can imagine it, you can create it, right? When you want to manifest something of anything in abundance. When you're in survival, you're in a place of lack. There's a sense of overthinking. Why? Again, other people in your environment, you have to make sure that they're safe, that they're not angry before you're focused on what you want to dream about because you were taught that in your environment. And I say that because I pulled abuse. Now, if I pulled abuse, it means that there was a parent that didn't make you feel safe. And we said that because protection, children don't need to feel protected. It's again, if they grow up in a loving environment that's supportive, they don't need that. Again, you didn't. And I know that because you checked out. And when you check out, you're in the spiritual realm. The child that survives thrives. Trauma opens up your psychic ability. And so you had that. And I say that because, again, it was organized chaos. It was like growing up in an environment that people saw that you had a bed to sleep in and food to eat and clothes on your back. So they thought that things were all right. They didn't know about the psychological and the emotional abuse. Or if they did, they look the other way, which actually creates more trauma when people know it and they look the other way. So it was almost like you had to live the lie, the secret. Everyone, because people didn't want to hear it. People didn't want to hear that your mother was abusing you. They didn't want to hear that your father was an alcoholic. They didn't want to hear whatever the scenario was. They didn't want to hear it because that I don't know what to do about it. It makes me feel uncomfortable, and I just don't want to hear about it. But again, to a child, that's they feel like they don't have anywhere to go. They feel like they don't have any, it's safe. They're taught that they don't matter because they're being saying, hey, I'm being abused by this person. I don't feel safe around this parent. They're making me feel as if I'm not worthy. They neglect my needs. They neglect not just my emotional needs, but my psychological needs as well as my physical needs. So you were taught not to be vulnerable. You weren't allowed to be vulnerable. You had to grew up again more like in survival because again you were programmed in that environment. And so our parents are like sometimes they have trauma themselves and that's why they're abusive. And other times they marry the wrong person and that's why they're abusive or they're in the wrong relationship with the wrong person. It's that's what it looks like here. That they were so consumed with whatever was going on in their own life, they didn't have time for you. It's again, they neglected you. They made you feel like a bother, an inconvenience. They psychologically and emotionally abused you, which psychically gave you very good capabilities because the child that survives thrives because no one can stop you, only you stop you. Because again, we have the Holy Spirit inside of us. So understand, people misunderstood you. People again looked at you like you were the bad guy. I even feel like a parent might have gotten you to react a few times to make you look crazy, to again, to fit their scenario. So the parent was a real narcissist, someone that was not happy. Growing up with a narcissist, trust me, you're going to have very strong psychic ability because you grow up in chaos, and children shouldn't grow up in chaos. They need loving parents. They need supportive parents. That's what they need to thrive within the world. Otherwise, it takes a shit ton of time and energy to recondition yourself of that psychological and emotional abuse. It can be done, but it takes a lifetime. It was 30 years, over 30 years for me, of psychological and emotional abuse. And the people that actually see the truth now, they don't even want to look at me because it's like they already know the story and they chose to be cowards and not really like do anything. They were like, you shut up, just put up with it, look the other way, it's too uncomfortable. Where instead of actually like getting involved, so they pretend I don't exist because it's like I became it. I became what I needed. Since no one else came for me and helped me, I became what I needed so that I could help other people, but also so I could heal myself. So it takes a lifetime. And growing up in this type of environment, that's the way that it felt for me. You know, I relate to this story personally. Warrior of light, use your passion to fight for what you believe in, stand your ground. So understand there's always going to be people that believe that you don't deserve, right? So I believe like it's not so much with this person. I believe that this person needs healing, and until they can heal, they're just not going to be on your vibration. They don't think that they're good enough for you, and they're not, because they would have to change their behaviorisms. They're struggling with that. It doesn't mean that they're not looking at it, but it's like they're finally looking at their own behaviorisms for the first time, and that takes time. So understand, Spirit says, whether you want them or not, stand your ground for what you believe in. Don't focus on them. Focus on focus on your passion. Focus on becoming yourself. Don't focus on this person, is what Spirit's saying. Um, the same way that this person wasn't focused on you because they were out with every Tom, Dick, and Harry, or Mary, Sue, and Jane, or like again, they were out with other people. They weren't thinking about you. They were having like surface conversation party time. So Spirit says, so you don't need to like lower your energy. Just focus on a passion, something that's going to give to you, because brighter horizons are right here. Envision a future filled with potential and opportunity. This was about seeing your genius. Like, really, this person wasn't even on your vibration. If you would have taken, like, the fact that this person wouldn't give you the time, and if you would have taken the time to say, hey, this person is not giving me time because they're hiding stuff, because they don't really want to change. When we say, I don't know whether I have what it takes, believe me, if I want something, I'm going to figure out how to get it. And especially people that are wounded, they tend to be obsessive. So they're like, I don't really know if I want to give up that life, because being with you requires healing. And I don't really know how to deal with it. I don't really know where to start. It's overstimulating. It creates anxiety. And that's why. So Spirit says you showed that you're a pillar of strength, and that's what this person sees in you. They have mad respect for you because you're the alchemist. You use your power to turn the adversity into opportunity, and that displayed unshakable faith. And when you show unshakable faith, well, the universe always then conspires to bring you exactly what you want. And so I don't feel like you're even going to be with this person. I feel like they came into your life to show you that you weren't really treating yourself on the level that Source wanted you to, that you didn't see your own genius. So you needed to be brought a person that was just like, again, didn't know what to do with your energy. So again, they didn't do it like purposely 100%. It's yes, they did, but but it was also because they are all wounded, and that has everything to do with them, not you. And that if you entertain it, what you're saying is, well, it has something to do with me, which is what Spirit says. You were entertaining it. Even if you said, well, they weren't giving me time, but you were thinking about them. You were letting them take up space in your mind. And how do we manifest? Through the thoughts that we think, the emotions that we have. So this person didn't want to give anything, but was keeping you stuck because, again, they were in this energy, indecisive energy, and they still are indecisive. And it's all because I was like, I don't know if I want to change. They don't even want to do it for themselves. So Spirit says it's all about, we end off with this acceptance. I know, not really a good one because when you really like someone, it's like, and they are that way, it's like, I have to accept that. I have to accept. And Spirit says, you have to accept every step that life presents to you without resistance. Try to find out what the universe was trying to teach you so that you can grow, so that you can advance in freedom on the path to light. And so it's again, it was all about acceptance, yes. But this person loved you, had feelings for you the way that they know how, but they need so much healing. Being next to you, they don't know how to even deal with you because again, the relationship's deep, it's real, it stirs up a lot of emotions, and it's almost like it overstimulates them. Then they don't trust themselves. Then they're asking other people, they're asking the wrong people about what they should do, bringing them further away from them. So eventually they would have to return to their own intuition, which is what they did, but again, the first stop is not to think about you. That intuition makes them think about themselves. And that's really what the universe wanted. The universe said, I needed to bring you into this person's life so that they would, again, heal and stop having these surface relationships that really are not growing this person. If anything, it's keeping them stagnant and for you to see your worth. So yes, to accept the same as growing up with abusive parents or a parent that, neglected you, that we have to accept that life is a school and that we're born into families and we have people come into our life to teach us. And one of the biggest lessons is about forgiveness and letting go. I'm going to leave that there, Gemini. You let me know how you resonated, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.